Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies about that, just getting everything set up. We'll be getting going here in just a moment. How you doing there, Brass Monkey? Yeah, that's it. Hopefully it's not our own asses this time around, but we'll see, Bear, we'll see. I do hope you're all doing well. Right, Ben, so we're looking for turn 15 here, say 15. Okay. Drunk on oil. That ass. Yeah, he's got a lot of it out there. He's got quite a substantial amount, really. Not much I can do about that. Definitely learned a lot since we actually started this game, but yeah, he's definitely drunk on that oil. Hey, doing that, Parmentier? Good to have you, my friend. Okay. Now, there might be a possibility of a submarine site in the MKB. That's very likely, considering we are doing the actual reconnaissance, we are doing the ASW. It is well worth it, though, even if he's going to be aware of it. I'm still... It's almost one of those as well of a... No, there's a sip. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it's one of those of where we're saying, hey, look, there's carriers over here. And he might think, well, how many carriers are actually there? So we'll see. Can work to our advantage as well. It is going to tip off potentially to the presence of assets in that area, but we'll see. So we do have the actual forces coming in here to Palembang. I am doing a whole train of ASW forces over here, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Shark's in a good position. I don't think that's river there, so we're going to have some problems. I do still actually have depth charges, but we'll see. Yeah, there we go. Nothing substantial, but then again, we do see quite a few assets over here at Palembang, which I'm looking forward to. If we can get in there and actually cause a substantial amount of damage to his subs, I'm going to be quite happy about that. Torpedo misses there, Finn back attacking. Yeah, he has got a whole lot of, a whole trail of them over here. We do also see some ships over here, interestingly enough. We do have naval attack set up. Oh, there we go, you can see there, fires the control room. I think that might be a river hex there. I think that is being... Yeah, I mean, we are definitely causing damage here. Ideally, we get like an actual depth charge penetration. Fire torpedo room. Fire... And to get to hell? What is it? Fire in the disco. Fire in the disco. Okay, moving on forward there. That's a very interesting looking submarine there, actually. Trent has a very particular look to it. Some torpedo boats over here. I think that would be the last of the ASW groups before the main body. I don't get more ASW attacks over here. I should be able to rearm depth charges at Palembang anyhow. It's a sizable port there. Okay, looks like our little fast transport force has arrived at the base just to the north of Rabaul. Ideally, it's actually empty. I haven't checked. I'm going to assume it's empty. Ah, we have a Columbo over here. Okay. And as per usual, my submarines cannot hit important targets. That seems to be a running theme here lately. And we do spot the actual light cruiser Columbo, which is interesting. Oh, of course, okay. Of course we take a depth charge there. As per usual. Yeah, that tends to be how my submarine operations do go there. Yeah. Yeah. That's a running theme lately. Ideally, the damage isn't too bad. At least we're aware of a light cruiser there. Be something that we could take a look at, actually, try and figure out where it's actually going there. Could indicate more British presence heading towards the south, heading towards Perth and around. Or it might even be assets returning, who knows. I mean, that's a light cruiser, 2 destroyers. It's... I don't know, maybe it's escorting something. But I think we might have seen more, but it could be its own task force. It's interesting that it's out there on its own, as far as we can tell. I don't think it's actually out there on its own, but we'll soon find out. Okay, so we've made it through the actual night phase. I don't think he got buzzed by the D3A1s due to the fact that it was at night, and they weren't set to patrol at night, just in the daytime. So moving into the air operations here, AM. Allied ships out there by Port Blair. I am actually going to be sweeping Port Blair today. The reason being, I wonder if he actually does have aircraft. We've seen aircraft over there every now and then. So I'm going to take as an opportunity to try and shoot something down if he actually does have anything running cap over there. Okay. Spotting PT boats there. Okay. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. We aren't seeing any opposition here. We do have a decent amount of escorts as well. The Key 43s, Key 27s and the Key 44s. I tell you, it's so much easier to say Key. It's actually more accurate. And it's nicer. It's generally a lot easier than to say. We do have a Summers in here. We have the Lilies. We have... yeah, 21... sorry, 21-1. 21-2A there. Okay. And a couple lands. Obviously just got to get the actual damage of the airfield up there. I learned a very harsh lesson. Okay. The issue is the amount of damage, but actually looking pretty good there. 24 runway hit is actually fairly reasonable there. We have more coming in. We'll speed things up over here. Yeah, that flak is nasty though. We have a suddenly shot down there. Flak is nasty. I can't wait until we are done at long last with Singapore. Another hit there. Not too bad. Right, constance, yeah. I mean, we are closing in on SunYan, actually. Little by little, we are closing in. Okay. We're not seeing that task force to the south, so he probably pulled out there. Okay, moving into the air phase PM. Okay. Reports near Norfolk are interesting. So we do see some ships now over by the southern, well, the opposite side of Java there. So aircraft sighted over, what was that one? Ooh, allied aircraft over there. I wonder if it's actually going to be setting up some sort of ground attack mission. We'll see. Yeah, bombers over there. Hudson sighted over Funafuti, interesting. Okay. Maybe he's considering actually bombing Funafuti. Was that? Oh, okay. No no attacks, really? Wow. That was like the quietest phase I've ever seen there. I was like, yeah, we're going to have some naval attacks. Apparently not. No sweep as well, so I guess it didn't encounter any resistance, then, or unless it didn't fly. Okay. I'm not used to it being so quiet. Oh my days. Okay. See, it's just a few formations over here at Singapore that need to be reduced, but it is going to the end. I mean, we do have the additional division here. The bombardments are actually having decent effects. I'm looking forward to when we can turn all this like power actually and have it move to where it needs to be, or where it should have been about 2 months ago. So, but we'll get him through there. I think what we'll do then is take a look at the amount of fatigue and destruction we have, and we're not far from launching the what I'd like to think would be the final attack. How you doing there, just east? Not too much has happened. Actually, that's a very encouraging result there. 150 casualties is not bad at all. He's at 772 there, so it does have a decent amount of AV, but then again, well, it's times 2 terrain. We still have more. It's going to cost us to get through that, but we'll be able to manage it. He'll likely have fortifications, but ideally we'll just be able to drive through it. So we are attacking over here once again. We do have the 6th Division, 110th, 32nd. We do have 1st and 23rd Army in position here, the actual cores. How you doing there, Tobias? There's only bombardment, don't worry. We are attacking here once again. I don't know if we'll drive them out today. Not today. I'm going to keep on attacking as much as we can to try and drive them. So we are taking more casualties, but he's taking more casualties now. 1,535 there. 8 destroyed, 84 disabled. He's not running low on supply as of yet, but he's getting pushed into a bad position. Like, we are having squads disabled here, not many destroyed. As many men as the Chinese corps actually do have, we do have more of these divisions here. We are attacking with a large force, but there's more on the way here as well. So we're going to keep on attacking as much as we can to drive them out of that hex. If we can drive them out, he's going to be in a bad position. I was about to say what the hell's going on here. So we actually do have a allied bombardment over here at Raphael with a live battalion. Now, I actually pulled out that unit, didn't I? We still have a 4th base force, so he's not going to be able to take that anyhow. And there's all those construction units over there. 6 allied squads there, so one, sorry, no, 6 casualties, 1 allied squad disabled there. Yeah, 42 AV. Obviously, we do have the defense. He's not going to be able to take that with a live battalion. I might bring some forces back just to make sure we have enough AV there. But the base force should keep him out of there. Right, so effect actually goes up to size 4. That's brilliant. We need to now begin to move assets to the other islands. I'd like to have more sea lift capacity in that area, actually. But again, we do see another quiet turn here. He's definitely up to something. I mean, it's interesting seeing him actually scoping out islands he hadn't previously bothered with. THG, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a sort of strategy, but it doesn't tend to run very much in the way of like reconnaissance or naval search. It doesn't seem to be the general by the by for him, I suppose. So when it does start to do it, it does actually perk our ears up a little bit there. You're like, that's a little bit interesting. Okay. Right. Well, it doesn't work like that. It's not the end of the offensive itself yet. So obviously, we'll talk about that game when we get to that game. But no, it's not the end by far. Okay. So let's take a look then. So, let's see. I'm looking for detection. So we are seeing 7 out of 7 here. Not over here, but we do have severe storms. Interesting. Right. Not particularly much happened this turn, really. Not particularly much. We do spawn these targets over here, moving southeast. We did have a naval attack set up from Palembang. Unfortunately, we just didn't seem to find any targets of actual value here, really. Oh, well, we're still on advantage. My god, it's only been 14 minutes. Usually I spend about that much time talking. Just about one thing. Let's see, then. Right, we actually do have additional heavy artillery that's arrived here. That's quite nice, actually. I never mind actually having additional assets here. That's not too bad. We can have them set to bombard too. Now, I'd imagine we're probably not too far away. And we haven't started bombing Rangoon yet. We will in the future, but we haven't started that operation yet. I'm building up the amount of zeros that we have there. Ideally, we can actually free up some assets from Singapore when it is taken. So, 18, 25, 12. We're looking pretty good there, to be honest. We're up to 25 AV there. He has 9 airfield damage, so at least it's not going to be building fortifications this turn. We could potentially attack with that. That's around about a decent number. It might be potentially worthwhile to wait another day to bring that fatigue down a little bit more, but 25 is kind of why it's on the borderline there. It might be worthwhile just another day's rest, but I don't think we'd recover that much in the way of extra fatigue. But it might be considered. It might be worthwhile just to do. He's got about 770 AV there, so it's not going to be easy to take. Should have been attacking it much sooner, but this is it, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, 25 is about right, isn't it? I can go for that. I mean, this is it. It's just, I mean, 18, 12 there, 2 there. The other divisions are in great shape. It's only 5th Division. Oh, I can go ahead. I think we'll go ahead and on that. Yeah, well, that's it. I do consider actually whether it's worthwhile having these infantry regiments engage in this. The issue is the 55th Division is going to be pretty beaten up by the time it actually has reformed. So Task Force 18 is on it. Yeah, okay, so it's over here. Unloading troops over here. We're going to have then 144th actually shipped out to Malaya, reform the 55th Division then. Yeah, we can order an attack. We can order an attack. Well, I know they're just east. It's just one of these things that we're going to actually get the planes to do it. He's got a lot of aircraft there, so we need to actually build the amount of planes that we have ourselves. It is going to be happening, but don't worry. Just because it's not happening, like, tonight, doesn't mean that it's never going to happen. It's something that's going to be coming in the future. It's just obviously we need to get the position... Well, we need to get the actual assets in place first. Okay. So we'll go ahead with a lot of an attack. I mean, yeah, with the regiments. Well, this is it. They're going to have to go ahead. We need to take the base, don't we? So we'll do the general attack there. Okay. We do have additional artillery that's joined us this turn, which is quite nice. So that's pretty handy for us there. Right over here. So you've just moved here, apparently? Yeah, these construction units need to go elsewhere, to be honest. I could send them... Let's see, yeah, it's better just to get them moving. We'll have them sent to like somewhere like Chiangmai. But they might come in potentially useful here. But then again, they're not that large as to be... I mean, this is it. We're going to have enough engineers to repair... Well, we'll have enough engineers. Might as well get these construction companies actually sent elsewhere. Right, there we go. And we have Chiang Mai. I mean, the reason why they've been sat there for a while is obviously they couldn't go all the way north to Chiang Mai beforehand. Now that we actually can, we're looking pretty good to go. Okay. We'll go ahead and take a look at aircraft losses and the usual in just a minute. Very quiet. It is interesting seeing the actual submarine to the south, though. Obviously, I'm going to have to go ahead and check that damage. I love the fact that we actually... I can't recall if we attacked the light cruiser. Haven't saved yet. We'll do it in a moment. I don't think it's all that much that we need to actually do here, really. So I think it's going to be a shorter one than usual, really. But I'll go ahead and make a save here then, just in case. Okay. Right, let's go ahead and check on that something quickly. Was it this one? Right, I-153. She's returned to replenish, actually. Was it I-153 that attacked? It looks like it might have been. Yeah, looks like it might have been. So it took some damage there. Not a humongous amount of damage. She's heading back anyhow, it seems, to replenish. So it looks like she was just in the area. But that's something to take a look at there. I don't know. It's strange when he is but he has a light cruiser there, but it's not beyond the realms of normality, really. But it might have some sort of escort or just some sort of movement of warships around the area. I do feel fairly strongly that he's going to have carriers potentially moving this way. We saw them head down this way. We haven't seen anything go north, really, since that. We do have a fair amount of subs over here. So I don't know. He seems committed to something or other. Ideally, well, the MKB hasn't been spotted as far as we're aware. Why did they, Oh, it was over here, wasn't it? No, was it? What? Has moved. Was it about here or something like that? I might have just forgot what it was previously. I just expected it further down here to make that, actually. Yeah, okay. I might have just forgotten, I must have forgotten when it was actually previously. I do see the sub moving over there as well, then. Okay. Well, they're not detected then, so that's good news. Works to our advantage there. We do have the forces over here. We'll get them loaded up shortly then, actually. I think we might go for it about this time, perhaps. We don't have as many forces as I would like, to be honest, but we can start the invasion, I suppose. They're saying that is worthwhile. The issue is we have to bear in mind that we are going to be losing the little bonus to unloadings that we get. We do have bases we could take. We do have naval guards to actually support the Division 2, so we do have assets that can go in there and help out. Obviously, we do have more of them over here. I think what we're probably better off doing then is going to go in then, trying to get an actual position established and trying to, well, I don't know. We could potentially move to Benjamin and then prepare. That's something that I can do. I would prefer to have more AV there. And now I'm kind of counting the divisions over here from Singapore, perhaps. Or from the 56th to the south, but we'll have to take it as it comes. Right, so he has moved a unit over here, but I can imagine he's starved. I don't think he's going to be any threat to Rabaul, to be honest. If I take a look at Rabaul, we have there then. So 29 assault strength there. What's actual base? The base is it jungle? I can't quite see, but it looks like it'd probably be jungle there. Oh, so these troops are just here then. So that's the bombardment force then. Okay. We do see submarines again, though. Moving northwest, interesting, okay. I did go ahead and actually transfer the float planes over here. I am actually unloading more supply over here, so you can see that we do have the PBs and we have an AG there. That's unloaded. So we have 647 over here at this moment in time. I do have this naval construction unit over here. We are going to begin to build up Buna. That's going to be very important. Yeah, it's taken a little bit of time for that supply to go through. I might just have to fly that supply through manually. But once we get enough supply into Buna, we'll be good to go. Obviously, due to the fact that there's more units there now. But there is more supply being sent out that way. If I take a look over here, yeah, we have these task forces loaded up. We have supply over here as well. We'll see what we can do about that. Should be fine at Ramal here. We just need to build this area up, but building up Buna is going to be very important there. And we need to have multiple bases that can actually support each other. This base would be really nice to build up as well. What we might go ahead and do then is we do have construction units, and I think they're just squads. I don't think they have any heavy equipment. Let's take a look at that. Snail construction. That does have an engineering vehicle. Let's see. We do have... Right, they're heading back over there. I thought I had a unit coming in, or is that the one that's just arrived there? But I confused it over. So I have a bombardment mission heading out this way to Moresby. The amphibious one, I could just take literally, what I wanted to do then is actually get these guys loaded, but what I can do here then is just have the DDs go to all these different bases in the area, secure all the bases in the area using like fast transport, so we'll be able to secure the bases over here, and just essentially all the bases like the dot base that's here. It would be nice to secure all these bases as well, and just take them all, and then we can actually begin to build up the area in a much bigger way there. I think sooner the better, really. I would like to actually get more supply down to the area as well, actually. We do need to build this air base up to a size 7, so we just need to get more supply down here. Much more supply. Fuel's actually improving, but more supply is definitely going to be needed down there. So let's go ahead and check on the aircraft losses, and etc. So Sally, Val, Kay, Hudson, there we go. I will say my opinion, I may be a little hard. I'm going to assume harsh. I would think his car should be in the middle of nowhere for at least 2 of a turn. He already used 2 time. Well, this is it. It's like the one over here. It just wasn't worthwhile. We just don't have the fuel for it. I mean, it'd been a punitive sort of thing, but I just don't think it would have been worthwhile. I just don't think it would have been worth that fuel. It could be done, and it can still be done. And you got to think of it like this way. If he's coming to the Coral Sea with his carriers, brilliant. If that gives us an opportunity to actually be able to strike at him using land-based airfields, then brilliant. That works for us. There will come opportunities. He's using his carriers in a very concentrated method. So we don't really have sufficient amount of aircraft in this area. I'm going to have to really consider moving additional aircraft out that way. Well, not consider, we are going to have to move additional aircraft out that way. Kates and etc. would be very useful, but obviously we'd want to have something longer range. We need more zeros, frankly. I mean, I could, for the most part, make do with key 43s in this area and have the zeros transfer. It might be potentially worthwhile to take the zeros and actually forego the operations over here for a time. So he has 7 units over here, so he has actually a considerable amount of strength over here at Baguban. Yeah, he's going to hold on to Rangoon pretty hard, man. It's going to be a pain in the arse, but once we do get the actual land forces from Singapore, we'll be good to go there. We'll manage it. I still know they're going to have a good one. Okay. It's going to take time, but Rangoon isn't insurmountable. He has the forces there, but it's ×2 terrain. He has about, what, 30,000 men there, 70 units. I mean, that's all well and good, but that is clear terrain. Clear terrain's awful. How you doing there, Jack Tank? I mean, the difficult part is we are months behind where we should be, but this is it. This is my first play by email. We're in a much better position than we were when we started, but it's like that inertia, really. We might have more experience now, but we can't gain that time back. So it's trying to make things work, and it's trying to really do a bit of a shoestring in some places. But we can do it. Ideally, he gets antsy and he actually brings his carriers to somewhere. I mean, if he brings them concentrated down here, it's going to be tough. But what I would do then is actually, I would actually bring the carriers south. But what I do then is actually have them positioned in the actual land bases. I mean, it would be worthwhile to potentially... I mean, this is the issue over here as well, is I'd need to concentrate quite a lot of air power in this area. I think it probably would be worthwhile, possibly... It's a difficult one because I want to have the carriers in a position where we can make use of them. It might be that we have them actually hold out at Rabal, but the issue is if they're at Rabal, they're potentially detected. The good news is he may have another carrier at this point, so I imagine he's probably going to have another carrier at some point. But we do have the detection out this way. What we'd want to do then is really find like a port of anchorage then to actually make use of. Rabal might have to be it really. It might actually be Rabal, but then we do have great port facilities over here at Truck, so we can actually go for the R&R while they are here. Well, they are here, sorry. Where the hell are you going? Yeah, so we have additional fuel that's arrived over here, that's good. Do you do the Manchukuo? Oh yeah, well we can do that actually, have troops in Manchuria etc. actually planned for bases in Australia. It's not a bad idea really. I think that was suggested by, was it Mike or is it Andy? I can't remember who it was actually, but it was a good suggestion. Okay. I'll do that to summary sort of thing then actually, it's a little thing that doesn't take too long. Right, what I decided to do as well over here is we do have the core, the actual 14th army over here. There's not much going on. Even if he actually tries to break out from Bhutan, it wouldn't help him. So I think what I'm going to do is actually bring the 14th army out of Luzon. I can actually have that moved elsewhere. Having additional army headquarters around the area would be very nice, especially when we are going to be conducting offensive operations against Java shortly. Fatigue's still going down, that's okay. It's a tough nut to crack, really. If he starts to build fortifications, he doesn't have much supply, it seems, so we'll see. Yeah. Well, that's it, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. So, how are we doing over here at... Yeah, fatigue's not bad. The beauty is, especially now with the 2nd Army Corps headquarters arriving, they have ample amounts of support here. So that works for them. It helps to keep them going. I mean, their fatigue's not too bad at all. I mean, they're taking a little bit of damage, but we do have additional forces. The fact is, he's actually having to pull back here. He probably has more men over here, but that's fine. If we can try and cause a degradation of air forces, that's not too bad. He does have 42 units here. He has 28 units here. He's got a massive amount of units over here that's going to be taken off supply. He can't really afford fights, to be honest, if he's got such supply drains like that. So these areas down to the south, they're going to bring... Well, they're going to get supply. The issue is he's not going to get a lot of supply if it's been soaked up over here, really. We do have mortars there. We do have another division moving in there. Do you attack this place? And we're going to attack here. We will be attacking again. We'll have that attack go ahead. If we take a look over here, Vets, we do have our forces, let's see. They're actually moving to the north there. So we're going to actually occupy that hex. He's still got the unit over here. Only one unit here at the moment in time. So it looks like he's probably fallen back to here. That's fine by me. I don't particularly care that much, really. If he comes back across the river, we'll obviously have a response there. If he doesn't, I don't really much care. Right, so it's taking some time, but let's see. We do have forces being moved over here to the north. They're being moved via rail to this position here, so you can see that we do have a whole hell of a lot of tanks there. We do have a brigade there, we have 12th Division. So that's a lot of tanks. I mean, how many tanks is that? Where do I look for vehicles? There we go. I mean, each number, like, every one is a tank, so that's 79 tanks, 50, 56, 58. That's a fair old amount of tanks there. Now, see, even though it is secondary roads, armor still moves quickly. Well, it still moves faster on secondary roads. And let's see here then, so... secondary road, I think, might be... So clear, yeah. It might be about 30 on secondary roads in a turn, and have to go ahead and double check it, actually. I've got the manual somewhere, I'll have to double check that in terms of actual road movement. Do you think he could plan some sort of attack at Numair? Likely. There's probably going to be something. I feel like he's going to be bringing the carriers to this area, but we'll see about that. I think it's going to happen. That's my personal opinion there. I think really how the situation would go is he would bring his carriers and he would actually come in here to bombard, like Numair, Comac, and etc. I think really what we want to do with that then is kind of use this as our... and I probably do want to have the carriers move south somewhat, and I do want to bring more aircraft to this area as well. More aircraft would be nice. Zeros would be excellent, but we don't have a huge amount of production in this. We have finally gone up to production numbers, which is good, but it's a little bit too late. We can still up the numbers that we have there. But it's going to take a little bit of time. Yeah. 1 turn move in. Yeah. Well, this is it. What we'll do over here at Numair. So we do have a G3s. The issue is he does have a B-17s over here, which is not too bad. Can manage that. I do have... Yeah, so I have some key 43s over here that need to be shifted around. We do have some zeros over here. They are taking some time to repair, actually. Looks like they might be ready tomorrow. There's a great amount of supply over here. Why don't I have a... for fuck's sake. So that's taking the aviation supply support out there, apparently. So we're going to have to get that moving back. God damn it. See, I need more engineers down here. Okay. Yeah, no wonder that. See, this is the issue of being between play by email sometimes. Little things like that get forgotten about. There'd be something I would have meant to do and forgotten about it. Okay. So we do have the submarines over here. And one thing that I might potentially do then is actually keep a large amount of submarines in this area, which is going to be something we will do. Okay. I do need more engineers. We just seem to have a lack of engineers in this area. We can shift aviation support there, no problem. I'm going to have to do so anyhow. The koi over here, but I need more engineers in this area. I thought I had engineers over here as well. Isn't there like a base force? They're all like partial units, aren't they? We move that base force down that way. And we'll bring more engineers down this way. What I'm going to do then is actually go ahead and bring this fast transport. We'll go ahead to effects. If I go here, pick up unit. Be on the list here somewhere. There we go. A koi isn't exactly very large. But it'll do for the time being. We'll have it brought back to Luganville so I have some actual aviation there. What I need to do then is get additional aviation moving around the area. Like I have the 36 Gen AF that will move elsewhere. Well, the fact is, with the second time sort of thing, it's like, people might think, well, just keep attacking, but earlier, quite a while ago now, in the campaign, we did attack multiple days in a row at Numair, and it really didn't do us any favour, really. It's a difficult sort of situation. If he's going to come in here with carriers, we're going to be mostly looking for like an Alpha Strike. In all honesty, what I'm considering doing here is actually bring in the 21st Air Flotilla. And I think I might actually have it moved. Let's see. It's about choosing a correct base. But I also do need to actually have the aviation support. I think it would be nice to potentially have Numair capable of launching torpedoes. But I might have it potentially shifted to Comac. The reason being... I mean, what's the airfield over here? Comac is being expanded. Yeah, I mean, it's only a level 2 over here at Numair. I think what we want to do then is really have Comac as the main base on New Caledonia. The reason being, I mean, I'd have to start the march now, so I think we will do that. I think it's better to use Comac, I suppose. The reason being that Numair is somewhat exposed. What I'd like to do is actually mine this area here, put some mines in this area. This is going to be the area he does attack, so if I can actually have subs just essentially wait in this area, if I could get some mines down here, I'd be quite happy about that too. Another consideration might be to actually have the air flotilla just not based on the island. The idea being essentially like New Caledonia is like ablative armor, but we'd still need to have some sort of capability to strike out. And we do have a couple more options that we have really available to us. It's just I need to get forces shifted. What I'm going to do even is actually, as it turns out, these naval headquarters actually do, these fleet headquarters do allow the use of torpedoes. So what I'm going to do is potentially get the 6th Fleet moved to Raphael, have the other fleet potentially move to one of the other bases in the area as well. Tulagi doesn't have an airfield yet, just need to get all this area built up. We're in a position where it would be good for us, well, it would be good if it came this way, but we're not in an incredible position. It's not really massively capable as of yet. I think you should, like, what happened in Wake, use New Caledonia as a dead, yeah. Well, that's it, Death Trap, yeah. If he invades, that's good for us because it gives an opportunity to tie him up, tie forces up that he would have had elsewhere, really. Also, we do have a good shot at actually being able to hit him there. So, frankly, what we need then is we need far, far more engineers out this way. Far, far more engineers. I do have a task force that's actually heading to the south that is carrying a bunch of naval guard and, importantly, a bunch of engineers. That's a naval guard, maybe. And it's not too long before he could actually go ahead and consider landing forces, so it might be worthwhile to have a couple units around the area. Well, yeah, I mean, if we had the ability to sink a division, that'd be nice. So what we are going to do then is actually have this head to truck. And then I can shift to using APs. Let's see. Yeah, we need to get more engineers moved out that way. There's a lot of engineers that have been sat around doing jack all, really. So we need to get them moved out. What we need to do then is we need to take a look at what we can actually shift in terms of squadrons, because we have an abundance of key fortifications in this area. What I need is more naval bombers. So what we have over here then, let's see, fades. So I have 80 aviation support over here. I don't need to expand that airfield anymore, so that's good. That's going to hold on to those supplies there. What I do need is well, this is it. I think we kind of have to figure out which position we're going to what you think you would do after taking Java. After we secure, well, after we get into a position where we can actually tackle Java, Java's going to be a bit of a problem. It might be a case of when I do bring all the divisions from Singapore and actually have them assigned to take Java, just essentially go full in on Java might be one of the options there. The idea being we take it as quickly and as brutally as possible, and then at least it would actually have us freed up then to take on Burma. We are going to have to do something there, but we do have to be quite radical in what we are going to do, because we are significantly behind time. Things aren't as we really want them to be. We just need to get assets moving out ASAP, really. So, a couple of priorities that we need then is we need more engineers to these islands to make these islands viable. We need a hell of a lot more supply in this area. We need to build up additional bases. Buna's going to be one of those. It could be very much the case that New Caledonia is essentially going to be defended by carriers. As such, well, carriers on the other side actually having their aircraft flown, well, base at these bases and flown out, and then have them actually put back aboard the carriers then to be moved, which is something that we could definitely do. We don't have forces we can take from Manchuria, unfortunately, unless we pay. But yeah, I think what I might do then is actually take the air flotilla and actually move it out from one of these islands, to be honest. The issue is Comac would be good, but the issue is it's like I need to master the air power, and if we could have him focus upon here, that's fine. If he lands on the island, fine. If he doesn't, I don't really much care. We can repair the damage there. If he lands okay, we'll deal with that. But I think what we need to do then is actually have our position set up so we can actually have effective response from multiple bases in the area. This, at the moment right now, I have the ability to use either Noumea or Comac. I can't use the entire island to use torpedoes from. So I think it might be worthwhile to potentially have the air flotilla move back towards maybe Comac. Comac would be a good idea for the time being. Yeah, probably going to be attacked soon enough, so I do need to start getting air power moving to this area sooner rather than later. It does seem like it's going to be something that happens. We do have B5M1s that can be shifted out. I mean, frankly, what we need to do then is figure out how we're going to be able to resist here. I can have a light level of resistance over here. Not a huge amount. Coastal guns don't really matter that much. I mean, they do help, but they're not the make or break, really. We've got the My Zero SLF I do need to break up to a degree. So I think what we'll do then is, yeah, they need to move north. They've got a little while to go. But this is it. I might just have the bombers shifted over here to Comac. Essentially, it's going to be a case of where we need to have, I don't know, we need to have at least 100 fighters or so, based with a good number of G3s to be able to get through. If he's going to bring his carriers, he's going to have a lot of air power. He's going to have a lot of cap, potentially. So what we need then is we need as many fighters and as many bombers in an initial wave just to try and get through and try and really cause them some problems. But the good thing that, well, the thing that works for us is he knows that we have torpedo capability out here. So he's aware of that. He knows that we have that. So, he's not going to be as eager to come to New Caledonia. The issue is when he does decide he's going to come to New Caledonia, by extension the Coral Sea, he's going to be a hell of a lot more prepared. Another consideration here is, well, is it worth defending New Caledonia? And what I mean by that is, we can keep the garrison forces over here, but is it worthwhile actually having the aircraft based at New Caledonia? Would it be potentially better for us to have our air power base in the New Hebrides? We have Luganville built up, we have a Fate that's just been built up. The issue is, of course, that there is Fiji there, so we just need more aircraft. Just more aircraft, more supply, more facilities here. We need to make the area mutually supportive of each other. We also do need to have more actual surface assets in the area. So we can turn things around here, and it can be done fairly sharply. We just need to actually get it down here. I don't know how much time we have. We do have additional fuel moving down by now, which is good. But yeah, need more supply. This area isn't as ready to take an attack as such yet, but it can be made. It's easier to defend like the Le Rabaul area. New Caledonia is one of those where it is quite the overextension really for us as Japan to a degree. We just need to be able to be in a position to defend it. So I think potentially submarines in the area is not a bad way. At least we do have a great deal of forewarning of what is to come here. I think this could be the potential area for a decisive battle if he allows it. But what I would prefer to happen is he actually moves beyond here. And if I take a look over here then. I mean, that's 16. I could have G401's base out here at Espirito Santo, so like Luganville. The issue comes down to, it's a bit harder to coordinate. So 12, 12. Well, Port Moresby's not too far from falling, really. The issue is I do need that supply to be in these units. It's not currently getting there due to the fact that this base is requiring more of this mounted time. Like, these ships over here need to go and take supply down that way. We do have a gas martyr that's being built up over here, which is nice. But what I might actually do is just leave behind a small amount of aviation here and actually get these forces moved out elsewhere. So right now I do have the 11th Air Fleet. So 11th Air Fleet is in position here. Lei's in range. Buna, right, okay, so that can remain in here. That allows Lei, Buna, all these bases over here within 5 hexes can be used. What I need to do is actually get engineers moved over here to Finschhafen, and we can build these, build up these bases here. I think what I need to do then is this guy. Right, okay, so there's a bunch of aviation support there, which is nice. That's great to work with. These COIs, and especially this unit over here, I do need to move out. Well, actually, this unit here can remain to actually act as the engineers and, of course, like a little bit of AV, just in case it got smart. But I need these naval construction units, these actual construction units, moved down elsewhere. I mean, we're not far off from a level 3 air base, so it's not going to take too long. We'll go for that level 3. I could do with more supply, but frankly, we need to get things moving. So, we've got the ships over here. We do have the ability to actually get some sea lift going, so I think we need to get them moving down ASAP, really. Right, there we go. Euronan saw you, which is good. So what I'm going to do then is actually have these 2 ships over here load up. Unfortunately, there isn't a large enough port there. Okay. Yeah, he could probably send supply to Port Moresby via air. I mean, what I could do with doing is actually having some Zeros fly over here and actually just try and keep that down there. Yeah, there's a good few things that we need to do, so we need to get sorted. I'm going to have to take assets from Dutch East Indies to bring down here, but we need to rapidly build this area up quickly, very, very quickly. So I need to get engineers moving sooner rather than later. I'd like to have you actually load up supply, but that's okay, we'll get it moving. Okay. So just load the troops for the time being. So I'm going to take those coys. Obviously I can carry 2 units right. But I'm going to take those coys, actually. Get them moving down south ASAP. So get them moving down there to Luganville for the time being. Right, replenish that. Right. We do need far more in the way of actual assets. Buna can be built up, and Buna should be built up. Buna is one of the best places in this area as well, to be honest. So we do have you that's currently unloaded here. What I'm going to do then is actually grab the 2 PVs over here. I'm going to have them head over to truck. We're going to go ahead and pick up some more supply there. Right, we need far more supply here at truck. We're going to shift a large convoy down to this area then so we can actually build this up. Right, let's see over here. We do have 28,000 tons of supply over here at Quadrillane. We need that. We need to draw from that. It's not great doing this, but if we do need that supply. Right, you need to head back to Japan, to be honest. These 2 Ansoyas over here, they're carrying like 2,000 tons of supply. Well, they will be carrying 2,000 tons of supply shortly. That will get something else to take supply there, but I do need more supply down in this area ASAP. I do want to build up Tulagi to an extent as well, but Tulagi might have to be ignored right now. Because it's just, I don't have enough to really make that work as well. And it's not supporting of itself yet. We need to build up Solomon and Guadalcanal. So we're going to get the supply moved down here. There's enough supply over here at Luganville, but I need more. I need to be able to shift it as well. So we'll get that supply moving down here. What I might be able to do then is actually take... I mean, let's see. I mean, Gazmata, the air fleet over there, actually carries a whole bunch of stuff. Sorry, actually, yeah, it looks after all the bases in this area right now, which is handy. How are you, island east of New Caledonia? Fiji is a obvious problem, due to the fact that he obviously does have the B-17s there. But, well, that's something that we have to really deal with, really. We can do this. I'm going to have to take a look at it off-screen, really. Shake off the malaise. Essentially, right, they're unloading over here. Let's place at sea, get that fuel moving around there. There's a lot of assets I do need to get moved out pretty rapidly. Like, that one needs to be shifted. We can have that shifted elsewhere. I do have the APs over here, so what we're going to do then is get them unloaded. The supply here. Need fuel shipments down here. The issue is I need to get... we need to get convoy set up to head back to Japan then. I can do that from BLeAcHACiD, and so what I'm going to do then is actually start to move the tankers. I think we do have a couple tankers potentially in position here right now. They're only low... Yeah, majority is low, but what we're going to do then is actually get the oil moving out of BLeAcHACiD and back to Japan then. So if I take a look over here, then we have... Oh, that's a fuckload of oil. Okay, that's a fuckload of oil. Right. What we're going to do then is we're going to have that oil... I think I could potentially have it transferred into Luzon, but I might want to potentially just go the Baldwab straight back to Japan. But that's a long distance sort of carry. I'd like to try and shift it little by little. So... we'll figure that out. We need to get that oil back. It's not a big problem. I think it might be most efficient to potentially have it moved over to one of these bases over here. Manila would be a nice one. Obviously, I can't use Manila right now. But I could still have it dropped off into one of these ports. We do have the benefit, and it might be that we drop it off at Naga. The reason being we actually do have the actual rail line there. The issue is I do need to capture all these islands in this area here. So we'll have to do that post-haste. Rebal. Well, that's it, yeah. The issue is we're not really in a position to court that as such. We do have the carriers, and I'm going to have to use the carrier. I'm going to have to rely quite heavily on the carrier strength, to be honest. We can do a lot of stuff, but we can't do it all at once. Especially not in this game. We just haven't... We're getting too far in now to really... get away with things, really. Yeah, potentially. But yeah, supply needs to head from Japan. We can manage that. We can get the oil moving back to Japan. We just need to get these assets moving out now. Right, let's see. They're moving into repair, okay. I need to go ahead and actually secure a position over here with illusions as well, surely. So things are looking interesting, and if we go ahead and take a look at the actual aircraft pool here, I think I'm going to have to take these zeros from Thailand, to be honest. Like, don't get me wrong, it'd be great to have them there, but frankly, I do have the MKB in the area. And the good news is the MKB can actually move her aircraft to that area fairly quickly as well. But I think I might want to actually have those 2 squadrons there actually shifted from Thailand all the way down to, like, the Southern Pacific. The reason being having a good collection of zeros there would be very great. I mean, even having like 100, just gotta try and aim for at least 100 zeros and a good couple G3s or G4s. G4s would be nice, but G3s obviously have the same range. Well, it doesn't particularly matter. The G4s have that greater range, which is not too bad. It would allow us to actually base them a little bit further back. But frankly, we just need to get the assets to where they need to be. And let's go ahead and actually check over here. So, aircraft replacement pool. So, with pools then. Right, so we have 13 zeros in the pool right now. So I need to get those zeros rolled down ASAP. Really just as soon as possible. We have more key 43s, but we need to get those moving around. We are essentially going to have to just make do with key 43s in this area for a little while. We can't go to the Indian Ocean yet. Still moving into this area. We'll get things moving. And the beauty is, at least if he does launch an attack over here, we can actually we can reorganize this area. We can make it work. It's one of these things of like I should have been doing this a while ago, but sometimes it just doesn't come up. It just it's just not really on your radar at that point in time, really, for some reason or other. But what I'm going to do then is look again at a whole hell of a lot of supply energies move down to this area, make it so it can actually hold itself there, so we don't have to use the Kitabatai or any sort of carrier support there to make sure we hold it. If it's going to come to that area, we can give them a hell of a good flashing potentially. I mean, this is it. If we had to make the choice, we'd obviously. We could probably fly from Fanni. But even over here, I do need more supply, frankly. But these engineers need to be moved around. What I need to go ahead and do then is actually have more transport aircraft move down to this area. So at the moment, there's not a tremendous amount. There's 27 G3s. There's 10 Key 43s there at the moment. We do have 10 H6K4s, obviously with 4 not ready. Another 10 Key 43 there. Over here we do have the zeros over here, about 20 odd zeros, a couple of H6Ks, a couple of Oscars. But I need, frankly, a hell of a lot more in this area. I do also need to get back to aviation support very ASAP. We could potentially bomb the Australian coast, but it's one of those that it's... He does have aircraft himself there in Australia, so he can defend Australia. It's not massively worth it for us to do that. In the future it might be. What we need to focus on is getting this area built up, and then we'll be able to consider stuff like that. If we can actually have a victory where we actually do sink a good number of carriers, potentially, without losing really as much, then that'd be great. Then we could consider doing some crazy stuff. But until then, it's getting quite difficult. The other flip side is, at least by having the MKB over here, if he does launch operations in the Coral Sea, we could potentially do something to really, like, force him to think, right, okay, I cannot simply remain here. We've got to make him think, right, I've got to get moving back. Really make him question the idea of the value of the combined and concentrated American and British aircraft carrier groups there. I know, but what I'm saying there, Justice, is it's like, you can do that, but it doesn't really gain you much. We could bombard the Australian cities, and sure, we might get some victory points, but it's not worthwhile, really, not yet. The reason being, it's going to cost us fuel to do it, it's going to cost us supplies, so obviously we're going to have an AKE there to actually be able to do some major damage. I mean, obviously, I could go for a single one, but we don't want to just go for a single one. We want to be able to bombard it pretty consistently to try and get that damage up. But it's a big operation. It isn't just a case of sending it out there, because you need to have that fuel in the area. Oh, bombing the actual coast. It's just not worthwhile. Not yet. Range is obviously a big consideration. But the fact is, he does have aircraft of his own. You've got to bear that one in mind. He does have aircraft of his own. We don't want to really... give our hand away. So there's a lot of things we need to do in, which is pretty much moving aircraft around. Other than that, we're looking pretty good. Okay. Gonna have that group move over here to Kuching, really. That'd make a fair amount of sense there, getting them moved in there. Okay. Right, we do have these forces here. Supply badge. Just need to get the supply moving. Okay. We do have additional units moving out here as well. Pearl Harbor, Suva. Okay. Yeah, potentially so. Okay. See, I believe there is an actual garrison over there at Horn Island. Sound like I almost said Whore Island there. Right, so I need to capture this base here. But to be honest, what I can do then is actually have a first independent moved elsewhere, but we've got one AV there. Might be potentially worthwhile to move over here to take this base or something like that, but that's fine. We'll make do. It's not a bad turn, really. We know what we need to do then. We know what our actual requirements are, so we'll get on that. Let's go ahead and rebuild this unit and have it set to naval attack. There was an element set to naval attack, but obviously, in fairness, there's not much actually worth attacking here. We'll use the key for the freeze here. We'll get these zeros moving out. Right, let's see. Yes, they're still repairing, but the Tainan KUS could be shifted out. This unit will have to be gone by April. So we don't have that long, so I might keep that one on station here for the time being. We'll see. Might be worthwhile to bring additional ones there. Possibly so. But I think we're going to call it about here then. There's a lot that I can do here in the actual summary, so what I'm going to try and do then is actually work on the logistics of the things here. Hey, doing there, Paul Warner? Good to have you, my friend. It's good to see you. Just as I'm signing off as well. Ah, it's a shame. So he has the base over here, but he doesn't have any supplying that base, so it should be fine. Yeah, things are moving along. We do have additional forces moving up over this way, which we are going to need. The additional divisions over here can be shifted up as well. So there's a lot of forces that can be shifted to here. Just need to allow them to arrive. Do have another division there. Just need to consolidate divisions, really. But either way, we still have achieved quite a decent amount here in China. We still have a good few bases I can work with, which is fine. I mean, frankly, what I could do over here then is actually, let's see, we do have these army HQs. Yeah, we'll work things out. But I'd like to say thank you for watching then, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys have enjoyed. It's been a quiet one. Again, another quiet one, but still, that's not too bad. We know what we have to do now. We do have a couple of priorities that we need to get sorted, so I think that's going to be the thing we work on now. Those bloody priorities. So I'd like to say a big thank you to my patrons here. So, a big thank you here to Ove Cato Borsheim, Susana and Daniel, Stanislav, 14123, Alex, Dilgen Gravy, Paradigmblue, Thunder, Erkkijuusto, Dingobat4, Mr. Baines, KO, BLeAcHACiD, Eric Wild, Spacht, Imperator Thrawn, Rick Chambers, James Lindsay, George Kilgore, Iceycrome, Talon1DE, deepicduck, Raphael, Paul Sanders, In the Flesh, SunYan, The Forgotten, Lord Luba, Ricky Blinson, and Gregory VanHouten. Thank you so very much for to my patrons. You guys are awesome. And thank you very much to my viewers. You guys are great for coming here each and every time. Some real nice names here. But yeah, we know what we have to do then. We've got a clear understanding of what we're going to have to do and what we could potentially expect in a worst case scenario. So let's make sure it doesn't happen here. And let's make sure we can actually punish him. But until next time, thank you for watching. I shall see you in the future. Goodbye from me, XGRG, and have a beautiful day wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Thanks for being Janay, sayonara.